I'm 16 years old. My name is Kavika. I go to high school. And let me tell you, for me, high school sucks. I can never do anything right. I never get anything right. Every day, I feel so stupid. I feel so useless. I don't have a place there. For me, every day is slap, slap, slap. They tell me, just try a little harder. Kavika, just try a little harder. I do, but still, I fail at everything I do. This is my life. Then one day, I got into this building class. I mean, I don't even know if it was a class. There were no desks, no walls, but they gave me a nail gun. They taught me how to use the nail gun. Then came the chop saw. That's for cutting the wood. But for a chop saw, you got to learn how to use a tape measure. And that's fractions and numbers. That was hard for me. But once I figured out that if I cut that piece of wood even 1/8 of an inch too short, the piece was no good. So I get every cut perfect now. Then they taught us how to read a set of plans. And before we knew it, we were out of the school, into Hana town, building a cottage for Auntie. And we started with a laser level, really cool. You spin it around and it helps you level the site. More math, but I got them. Then came the foundation. And you know, you got to get that foundation square. So I learned, that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Then came the walls. The walls, that was all about team building. I was on a team wall, and we had 5 other guys, and together we built all the walls, and all of us had to be there at the right place at the right time to get those walls up. Then came the interior. Well, we got to mill our own wood, our beautiful mango, our monkey pod, our koa, and we got to put it together in any way that we wanted. There were no rules. There was even once where there were 5 windows coming together, and we didn't have a piece long enough to go across those windows. So my idea, let's cut out a koa ukulele and put it right in the middle and bring our trim right up around it. It was killer. And Auntie, she sailed on the hokulea, the Polynesian sailing canoe. And she asked, hey, could you guys design and make a mosaic tile for me of the hokulea? Well, guess what I did in school all day long? For 10 years, I just doodled on my pieces of paper. So I'm a pretty good artist. And I got to design that hokulea and help build it. Came out amazing. And when I looked into Auntie's eyes, I knew I was worth something. And then, about 10 days later, when we had the blessing for the cottage, my whole ohana, my whole family, came to see what I'd been doing all day long after school for these months. And they came in, and they looked around, and they looked at the trim work, and they pointed at the hokulea, and they pointed at the inlaid hardwood floors, and then they pointed at me, and they said, you did this? Yeah, I did. Do you know any Kavikas out there who are living this life of failure? There are way too many kids out there today who are feeling this, especially out in Hana, where I live, on the east side of Maui, where I teach building and construction to high school kids through our nonprofit Makahana Kaike, which means in working, one learns. And we believe in teaching in a way that makes sense to them, of finding a way to set them up for success, not failure, that encourages their creativity, that connects them to their community and their kupuna, their elders.
When I was in high school, I didn't like bookwork, didn't like English, math, all those types of classes, and when I started going to the building construction class, it made me want to come to school, want to go out and learn new things. And then as I did the program, it helped me focus on getting my work done for the other classes so I would graduate.
James guys, they like teach me something. After that, I can just get started. I can do it on my own. Pretty much you get confidence from these guys. Like, these guys boost you, and then like, oh, like you can do this and that, kind of like, they don't put you down.
I never thought I'd be a teacher.
It helps me feel appreciated for my ideas that I share. It makes me feel that I can do anything else in the world.
This confidence gives a person confidence when you learn how to learn.
As a slow processor, it kind of helped me build up to the conquerment of all my fears.
I finally accepted the fact that I gotta stop being so stubborn about learning. So I opened up and I look at things different now. Like, you know, I learned to be more patient and accept new things into my, you know, what I'm learning. Like before, I used to push it away because, you know, I felt stupid about it and I didn't want to learn it. You know, I'm passing math all the time now because of this program.
Okay, think back. Remember, or some of you, remember when the kupuna of Hawaii were young. The guys, they had arms like this. They were our fishermen, our hunters, our farmers. And the girls, they were such an important part of running the family. But now, look what's going on. Before they had this place, they were needed, they were valued. But now, what's going on with our youth? What do they look like to us? Many are seen as trouble, as useless, as good for nothing. But give these same kids a chance. Give them skills. Give them success. Give them value. And we will see change. That year, Kavika finished Auntie's cottage. He also built a 1,000-square-foot classroom in school. And he also built a solar bathhouse, old-style bathhouse, but with solar panels on it, so that a family of 12 could shower every day for free with hot water. He also built a handicap access ramp going all the way around Uncle's cottage because there were 6 steps going up. And Uncle could come home from the hospital and get to his house. Give Kavika a taste of that drug, that feeling, the one you get when you help someone. You all know that feeling. Let him taste it often enough, and just maybe, one day he'll become addicted to it, an addict for life. When we first started this program, one of our 9th grade students, his name was Kai, he had a catastrophe happen. His family house burnt to the ground. Kai, his 4 brothers and sisters, and his single mom were left homeless. The next day at school, everyone was talking a story about Kai's fire. And then in building class, we're building away, and one of the kids stops and says, "Hey, we could build a house for Brother Kai." And then another kid goes, "Yeah, we could build a house for Brother Kai." And they look at me, and I go, "You think you can? Show me." So we dropped our belts, went into the classroom, and that afternoon they designed a 600-square-foot cottage for Brother Kai. Next day at school, the money, who's going to pay for it? I said, "Hey, I don't have money in my budget to pay for this." But luckily that night, There was front page article in the Maui News about the fire, so all our suppliers knew about it. I handed the telephone to the kids, twist their arms a little bit. They got on the phones and they hustled about 90% of the materials needed for that house in 1 hour. Then, with their hot streak going, they got on the phone the next day. They got the bulldozer guys to come in and level the site. They got the truckers to come in and bring all the material in. And then Friday morning came, the day after Thanksgiving. 7 in the morning, about 50 people showed up, at least half of them students from Brother Kai's class. And they started pounding. And so did the rain. In fact, the rain was pounding all weekend long, non-stop. It's Hana. But that didn't dampen any spirits. The music blasted. Lunchtime came. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, 4 tents appeared full of food and hot drinks. Into the afternoon, the next day Saturday, all day Sunday, more people showed up. And by Sunday evening, the last shingle was pounded in. The last baseboard was put in. The last plumbing connection was soldered. And we blessed that house. And the kids got to see how their kokua, their helping others, not only changed the life of a family, but of a community. Speaking of kokua, I want to tell you about one of our uncles out in Hana. His name was Uncle Earl. He spent a lifetime of helping others. Then one stormy February night, a tree branch fell right through his house, crushed it. Uncle and Auntie were left homeless. They were taken in by friends, but Uncle, who was fighting a losing battle with cancer, he was driven. And he called up Makahana Kaike, and he said, asked us to come help. We came right away and designed together a small cottage for Uncle and Auntie. Started building immediately the next day. And every day that Uncle was not in the hospital, he'd be sitting there on the job site in his wheelchair, covered with blankets, joking, talking, inspiring the kids to work in a way that I've never seen before, with such intensity, such focus. And then with about 2 weeks before the job was done, Auntie called a couple of the kids to his bedside. He took their hands in his, and he made them promise to finish this house for Auntie. That night, Uncle passed away. And in a couple of weeks, we finished that house. But nobody who had worked on that house was ever the same again. I want to tell you about one of my students. His name is James. James was like Kavika. He didn't know why he was in school. He didn't know what was going on. I don't think he knew what was relevant to his life. James wasn't stupid. James was a genius. He was the guy that in building class, I'd go, James, come over here. Take these plans, go build this wall, do it like this, this, and that. James would walk away. 5 minutes later, he'd come back. He goes, Uncle, what if I went like that, that, and this? And me, the 30-year builder, would be looking at him with my mouth hanging open, saying, yeah, that's a much smarter way to do it. True story. When James, well, let me ask you a question. Do you remember when you were a junior in high school? Some of you easy, but let me tell you about James, what he did as a junior in high school. He designed and built a 950 square foot house for his Hana, his adopted grandparents. He woke up at dawn, worked till the school bus. He came after school and worked till dusk. He worked holidays, Christmas, Easter, summer, until that cottage was done. That's what James did as a junior in high school. James is still with us now. Hopefully, maybe he's my successor to Hāna Ka Oi. But if we'd have given up on James, if he had never tasted success, if he had never tasted kokua, if he had believed in his failures, we may have lost this genius, this pillar of our community. But there's also Russell, Lyman, Lavaya, Josh, Keone, John Boy, and so many more who were labeled failures. But now they're leaders in our community. There are teachers, our artists, our builders, our coaches, our mentors. There are fathers and mothers. And guess what? They can do math. Hāna Ka Oi means in working one learns. But we have to remember that kids don't all learn in the same way. We have to find a way to teach them so it makes sense to them. We have to find a way to set them up for success. We have to find a way to encourage their creativity. We cannot afford to fail. Remember Kavika? Well, Kavika just got a text from his buddies Saturday afternoon. Meet us down at the bay. We're going to drink a few six-packs of beer and smoke a few joints. But he also got a telephone call from his auntie. She needs help. Her roof leaks. She needs Kavika to come help her. Now, Kavika's got a choice to make. He's got a decision. Which one is the better high? Thank you.